So I would love to, if you have these two things in your hand, so you can make few notes. See, the information which I'm going to share, the knowledge which I'm going to share is all available. But, I'm going to share with you with my own experience, that how my clients and how businesses which I have experienced with have really transformed by having and reinventing their business models. So business modeling is the core of our business structuring. So I would say it is not a business structure. Now everyone is already in business. So I think you need to really think of restructuring, reinventing yourself. So today, this webinar is going to be focused on reinventing your business with the help of business modeling. So is that right to everyone? Is it clear to everyone? Makes sense? So you can reply yes, no, whatever in the chat box, so that I come to know that you are there with me. All right, wonderful. So business model is a very important thing. Is the core of any business. Now, when I say business model is that how you are actually structuring your business, and how does the world look at you. I think can we mute the noise, please? Welcome, Bharti. Bharti is from where? Bharti, you can just reply in the chat box if you're able to speak.
Sir, we are live. You can continue your webinar, please.
Okay, wonderful. So welcome all. I think we are 15 participants today. I welcome you all on this first day of the week, Monday. I'm very glad that we are on this platform, and I'm doing this live for the first time on Bringle platform. Thank you, Ansho, for supporting this webinar. Today we are going to talk about, and we are going to learn about the business model of any business, small, big, any business. So the fundamental assumption here, which I always tell people, is that you may be very new to the business, or you may be very old to the business. You might have hands-on experience of 5, 10 years, 2 years, 20 years, whatever. But I think every day is a new learning day for all of us. So today, 22nd of July 2019 at 11:20, you can just imagine that you are reinventing yourself. So for next 45 minutes to 60 minutes, I'm going to share with you some of the essential parts of business modeling. So business model, as I said, is the core of any business. It is something. It's a structure which world sees at you with. It's not about you only. It is how people look at you. So if that is the case, so business model has to be so clear. It has to be so crystal clear that anybody understands what's your business model. The problem with most of the MSMEs and small businesses is that the business owner or the entrepreneur starts something out of his passion. Sometimes, I would say 20% times, and 80% times he falls prey of the competition. When he falls prey of the competition, so he starts comparing and copying all the business models available in the market. So that's a problem. That's where we hinder our growth. That's where we limit our growth to a greater extent. So there's nothing wrong in copying somebody. There's nothing wrong in really imitating somebody. But if you are at least 20% to 40% or 50%, if not 100% original, that's what makes you different from the competition. And you have to take a journey not to become and not to come in competition, but become competitive. Now, when you become competitive, you have a differentiation. Now, this business model brings in the differentiation in your business. Now, what is a differentiator in your business? You have to ask yourself. And if you don't know what is a differentiator, you may be thinking that you are doing a great business. But sometimes you may be thinking that, okay, my business is the best business. I'm doing the best way, the business I understand, because I have got the capability, I have got the expertise, this is my idea, this is my innovation, this is how I think, this is how I'm passionate about it. You have all these questions to yourself. But unfortunately, the world doesn't work like that. You have to reinvent and restructure and probably sometimes realign yourself, maybe once in a year, once in 3 years, or maybe once in 6 months, because a very fast changing world, you have to really keep on moving according to the need of the market. So fundamental assumption, fundamental core of business modeling is, what are you delivering? What is your value proposition? What is the value which you are and which you are delivering to the market? Or let me ask you a very simple question and very powerful question, uh, that whatever service or product you are supplying or you are delivering to the market, are you solving any problem? Now, this is one of the questions which most of the people or most of the entrepreneurs don't have a very clear answer to. And even if you have, but still there is some problem with the clarity of what you are actually delivering in terms of the value. So my question to all of you is that how many of you think that you are solving a problem of the society outside? So anyone who can just write a chat box, in the chat box, I invite anyone, somebody can volunteer and write down what is your value proposition and what problem are you solving. So one question is, what problem are you solving in the world today with your service or with your product? Can anyone pop up with a message here? I would love to see some message here. Anyone? Supply chain. Okay. Sandesh Hegde says supply chain. Now, there are 7.5 people who needs help. No, I think 7.5 people, 7.5 billion people, you will not be able to serve. So let's target our audience. So my question was not this, that how many people will you be able to serve? My question is that what problem are you solving right now? Safeguard interest investors interested. Okay, lean and operations management. Wonderful. Raghavendra is saying the lean and operations management. Okay, connecting mentors and mentees. Yeah, that's the solution you are providing to a certain problem. So now let me just put this question more specifically. What is the problem you are solving? Problem, not your solution. Lithium battery packs for the solar. No, this is all solution you are giving me. I'm not asking you to tell me what are the solutions you're providing. I'm saying, what is the problem you are solving? Please make a statement of a problem. Write down a problem statement here. I want to say,
we are solving the problem of students of memorizing and learning.
no, just write it down. Write it down here in the chat box. Transparency in supply chain. See, my problem is that I have a pain. Okay, I have a deficiency of iron. So is there a supplier who can supply the iron which I need for my body, or that so you have to first of all understand what is the problem you're solving. So that's number one. Okay, wonderful. Improving English language skills of the student. So the problem, Bharti, you're solving is the English language. So is the English language skills is a problem? Yes, if it is a problem, so you're solving that problem. Okay, wonderful. Which course is better for me? Who is the best support system? Excellent. So now we have come to the brass tacks that as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you are here, we are all here to solve problems. So first of all, we need to identify what is the problem in the world. So once we identify that, then we design a product or a service around that. We design a product and service around that problem. So this is number one. So in business modeling, the center, the core of the business model is the value proposition. So this is what is the value proposition. So what problem are you solving and what solution are you providing? So is it clear to everyone? I think we are fine with it. Okay. So the next question is The next question is, are you what kind of a business are you? Are you a business? Are you a high value, low volume business, or a low value, high volume business? Or are you a mix of both? See, in the business model, I say that, you have to identify yourself whether you are a low value, high volume, or high value, low volume business. What is your decision as a business owner, as someone who is actually getting into the business? So question number 2 is that, do you really know? Yeah. Yes, Richa. Yes, Richa. You raised. Can you type, please? So please type. Yeah, Ansham is asking you that you have to raise hands, or probably you can type the question. Anyways, so business model. The next question I have for all of you is that, do you know that which segment of business are you in? Are you low value, high volume, high value, low volume, low value, low volume, high value, high volume? What are you into? Are you into B2C, B2B, or mix of both? So this is the number 2 question which you have to ask yourself and really clarify in your mind and put it on a piece of a paper. So first question was, what problem is there which you're solving and what solution you're providing through products and services. Second is the business model. We have the different models available. We have to identify whether we have the product. Now, how do you compare your product with the other product, whether your product is high value or low value? Now, this is a question. So how many of you think that your product or service is high value or low value? I'm not talking about the volume right now. I'm just asking you a question whether the value which you are delivering, okay, great. So absolutely. So high value, high value. So high value, what is the definition of high value? How do you define high value? How do you define high value? Is 5,000 rupees product a high value or a 50,000 rupees product a high value? And how do you define what is the denomination of value? How do you define a value? That's my question. Anyone who can? ROI. Very nice. Yes. Yes. No, Akshay, Lakshay, I'm asking, do you know what is high value and what is low value? So I'm asking you a definition of, Sandesh said, return on investment is called, okay. He's saying that it is ROI. This is return on investment, where I get the most of the return on investment is a high value product. It's a very good answer on that. Absolutely. In my opinion, the value which we provide to customers is the main value. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, excellent. So value has to be understood. It depends on what model you are. Say, for example, if we talk about Zomato. Now, Zomato is a model where they are actually commission agents. They don't manufacture food themselves. So they have tied up with the technology. They have tied up. So do you think that they are a high value or a low value supply chain company? What are they? Zomato, if I ask you, who are they? Do they have high value service or product, or they have a low value? Zomato, just for an example. Or maybe let's take an example of Maruti on the other side. Absolutely, Maruti cars. Okay, Monish says low value. So I just gave you two absolutely diagonally opposite examples of, one is Zomato, one is car. So high value, the definition of high value, yeah, Maruti is a low value. Why do you say it's a low value, high volume? Yeah, absolutely, Raghavendra. Low value, high volume business is Zomato. Mercedes is high value. No, but Mercedes is high value and Maruti is high value. Somebody is writing, Munish is saying, somebody is saying low value. Now this is, can't change the price. Exactly. This is one of the reason. That you cannot change the price. Very well said, Lakshay. You cannot change the price, so it makes you a low value product. High value product is basically when you have very low customers paying for that. Because see, Even if you are selling a high value car, which you think is Mercedes is a high value car, and there is somebody who is willing to pay for it because he has got money in the pocket, so it makes it high value because everybody cannot buy that. Or you even Mercedes, you cannot change the price because Mercedes, okay, fluctuation based on the GDP or maybe economy, it may go up and down by 5%, 10% here and there, but then the cost and the brand value is like that. So that creates a value for the product or service. So we have to be little more clear about whether we are in a high value zone or a low value zone. So you take a call, you say that, okay, I'm a low value product, but I have got a high volume like Zomato, as I mentioned. Okay, and now you have to take a position in business model. You have to take a position. So once you take a position, you structure a business around that. That's number three. Or maybe you have a product line or a service line which is mix of both. Like for example, if I do training for 100 people under one roof, it's a low value, high volume in a way. But then for every client is getting the same value. It may be a low value for me because I don't have much of a return on investment per person, but I can convert it tomorrow. I can say that it's a high value, high volume business. So it can also be high value, high volume. It can be low value, low volume, or low value, high volume, or high value, low volume. So there are four scenarios which we are looking at. So when I say four, no, which one is better is not the discussion here. I'm saying you have to take a position. You have to take a position, and you should know that in this four quadrants, of all, or mix of two, mix of any two, or mix of all. So you may have different. So there are companies who have got, like for example, Maruti has got a car which they sell for 3 lakh also. There's a car which they sell for 22 lakh also. So they have all kinds of cars. So they have got a different baskets, where they have hatchback, they have different kinds of, they have SUVs, they have small light vehicles and stuff like that. So the number two thing which you need to understand business modeling is that where do you stand and what is your position as far as the value and the volume is concerned. I hope it's clear to everyone. Yeah, great. So the next one is in business model, we have to really look at the key elements of business model. What are the key elements of business model? Business model, we have, say for example, there are products and services which you deliver to the market as per the need and the target audience and target customers. And you have to first of all see that who will pay for your product and service, and why should they pay for it, and how much will they pay. That's value proposition. And how much it will cost to make or deliver. That is something which you have to decide. That's basically your cost for that particular product or service. And then you have to look at the profit at the end. I in my powerful CEO program, I have discussed and I've shared with the paradigm shift of one of the equations which says that selling price is equal to cost price plus profit. I say that you put this cost price on the left side of sales price. So you can say selling price minus cost price is equal to profit. So we have to change our paradigm from, in the beginning, don't fix and don't budget your profit in your cost structures. You have to, first of all, look at the market, because you don't decide the pricing unless and until you are a very high value product, like any expensive, watch, for example, Rolex for that matter. Now, if you are not in that category, which you think you are not in that category, then you have to really see that what is my cost price of that product and service, and then minus it from the selling price, and then the profit will come automatically. So you have to make sure that your cost price is always controlled. That is why we have cost centers in big organizations. So there is an approach of operations excellence as cost structure. There are cost centers in the companies, but in small companies we don't have cost centers. So we'll come to that also. So this is number 3, that you have to look at the cost, and profit you will make on its own. So because if the market has decided the selling price, you have to just control your cost, and the profit will automatically come to you. If any one of your doing if he's doing you have to, or same price or same selling price, the advantage which you will have is that if you control the cost and if you have a better understanding of your business delivery, you will be competitive in the market, right? So this is something which you need to understand. And then also, you also have to focus on your partners, suppliers, competitors, and complement. These are some people who will break or make your business. So your partners, your suppliers, your competitors, and your complementers. Complementers are people who are well-wishers, who actually complement business with you. There are a lot of collaborations which you have to look at in the ecosystem. And then finally, you have to look at the structures and the processes, where you look at the marketing, you look at the sales, you look at the production, you look at the product realization process, you look at the supply chain, how you are going to take this product and service to the customer or the audience or the target customer which you have decided for yourself. And then you also have to look at the finance, sources of funding, and return on investments. And finally, you have to also look at and consider other stakeholders, which are your banks and your employees, internally and externally, whatever and whosoever is there in your stakeholding, you have to consider them also. So not getting much into the detailing of the elements of business modeling, let me just come back to a general structure of a business model, how business model plan should look like. So just imagine that there is a screen in front of you, or a A4 sheet size paper in front of you, and it's in a landscape shape. And in the middle of it, you have to just look at the value proposition of your offer. So this is the core of business model. And on one side, you have to just see that what are your core capabilities. Core capabilities means that what are your available resources in terms of your people, in terms of your skill set, in terms of your competence, in terms of your expertise, in terms of your value which you are giving to your customers. So you have to look at your core capabilities. Now, these core capabilities actually emanate your business. This is why you are in business. Because if you are not having any competence or any skill set, you are not going to be in business. So you are in a business because you have a talent, you have a skill, and you have some great idea which you have really worked on, and you have built a business around that. So core capability has got few things which you need to understand. One is your core competence area, your skill set, for which you are known for. Second is your team, your people. Third is your infrastructure, your assets, basically. Whether it is if you are a manufacturer, then your plant. Whether you have a world-class plant or you have a small plant, what kind of machines you have, what kind of technology you are having, what kind of set of people you have, these are all capabilities. So when you have your own core competence, when you have people around you, when you have infrastructure, when you add up all of this, it is basically your set of your core capabilities. And then the next one is, as I said, the partner network. What kind of partners you have. So you have to focus on the partners. Whether you have some collaboration, or you have some, I call this, you can just note it down. I call this as that in business, you have to have a strategic partnership ecosystem around you. When I say strategic partnership ecosystem, that means that you need to have some demand partners or some delivery partners, and it should be inclusive. And with some people, it has to be exclusive. You can have an exclusive partnership with some people for your product and services to sell. You may be a franchise model. In that case, also, if you see, for that person who is giving you a franchisee, he has got a very robust, I would say, partnership model as a service delivery model in his business. And that is the model he or she has. So you have to see in whatever business you're, for example, Lakshay, you are into stock market. So you can be a solopreneur. You can actually see that how but then who are your partners, in the whole system? Maybe some networking organization can be your partner, but every partner which you choose have to be a strategic partner, and that strategic partner should be either a demand partner or a delivery partner. So let's be very clear about it. So you cannot onboard some partner who doesn't have any capability. Your partner should have to have some capability. That person should also have, or that company should also have got some specialization which will benefit you, in doing that. For example, Ola, when they have a technology behind them, what do? They don't own any car. They don't own any vehicle. So who are their partners? So these driver community, they have created a partnership model with them. So that is how they have built and made a business model out of it, where they are charging a certain percentage from that, and they get an ROI for the technology only, and the people, the capability, the core capability which they have. So the next thing after partner network, you have to focus on the value configuration, your supply chain. How do you produce and how do you deliver? How do you produce and how do you deliver? How do you produce and how do you deliver? So this value configuration is very important. How, if you are a manufacturer, if you are a service organization, even if you are in an edtech business, education technology business. So what is your value configuration? How do you reach out and make sure that you are actually delivering so this value configuration needs to be understood. So this is something which we need to do on the left side, or maybe on one side of which I call as an infrastructure. So on the offer, whatever offer you are offering to the customer or value you are offering to the customer, there has to be an infrastructure behind. So in infrastructure, we have got three things. We have certain key partners, we have key activities and tasks, and we have certain core competencies. We have people, we have machines, we have all the capabilities. So this comes in one group. This comes in as an infrastructure, steps, and all these key activities and key elements of infrastructure. So core capabilities, partner network, and value configuration, how you are delivering this value is on one side. Now, let me just take you to the other side, which is basically, this is an input side. Now, let us look at offer as a process. And on the input side, there's an infrastructure, which is an input to this value proposition. And there is an output of this value proposition, which actually goes to the customer, which is a customer in itself. So the output of the offer is, or the receiver of the offer is the customer. So the first thing which you have to focus on is the target customer. Who is your target customer? There are 7.5 billion people in the world. I'm sorry to say this, but you will not be able to reach to 7.5 billion people because everybody has got its own unique needs. So you have to understand what is the pain area, what is the area, as I said in the beginning. So you actually identify your target customer. Say, for example, for me, the target customer is SME. Now, I may go to the world and sell my services to SMEs, but probably it may not be possible in the first go. Probably I have to see, because the market conditions, the economic conditions, the government regulations in different countries are different. I need to learn about that. But I'm pretty clear about my country, and probably I'm pretty clear about Middle East, say, for example. So I can extend it, but in that also, a an SME community is very small out of this 1.3 billion people we have in our country. So it may be 1%, maybe 2%. So I cannot reach out to all the people. I cannot serve all the needs unless and until I have a business model like that, like Reliance does different kinds of businesses. So obviously, when you reach to that level, then you can think about that. There's nothing wrong in thinking about and dreaming big. I'm not saying that, but let's focus. Let's be very specific and very laser focused on our target customer. Once you identify the target customer based on the value proposition, you also have to, on this side, you have to look at the distribution channels. How do you take this value proposition to that customer? That's complete distribution channel. You have to see what are my channels. How do I, for example, for Zomato, the distribution channel is technology. For Ola, it is technology. For Ola, for Oyo, it is technology. That is the channel which they have. And the partners are basically, for Oyo, the partners are the hotels where they tie up, the private hotels where they tie up, who are sick units, who are not doing well. So Ritesh has actually done it like that. So we have to see that, okay, there is a target customer. Like, for example, students from age 14 to 18 are my target customers in certain cities. So how do I reach out to them? Probably I will reach out to them through a web portal, or probably I will reach out to them through my website, or through a technology, or through schools. Maybe school may be my distribution channel. So, or maybe for consulting, networking organizations can be my channel, right? So this is how, you have to define that what are the distribution channels for taking this value proposition to those people who have that problem, and you take the solution to them. Then in this group of customers, one of the critical things is customer relationship management, which we call as a customer relationship CRM. How do you manage the customer relationship? Now, most of the people say that, no, sir, we have a great customer relationship. I ask them only 2-3 questions in my powerful CEO program, that do you really know that how many customers don't repeat business with you? Now, once you understand that why people don't come back to you, why people don't repeat business with you, why do they go to your competitors, and why this pain, or probably if you have given a painkiller in the beginning, your product and service is a painkiller, and then why don't you have a treatment plan for them? Why don't you have a nursing plan for them? Why do you want this customer to go away? And why do you let him go away? What is the system? What is the relationship management you have? Do you have a database? Do you have different programs coming up? Do you have different products for him to? Because, a customer, when you have a relationship with him, he has all the needs. As Anshul said, that there are 7.5 billion people who have the need. So every person has got some need in that particular zone of business, business world. So if I am a service solution organization or a product solution organization, a simple example, there are companies which are manufacturing RO, these RO machines, for cleaning the water, the drinking water, portable drinking water machines. So now, if these, like for example, at my home, I have got an RO small, this machine, and this machine is actually, I'm getting from the last 13 years, I'm getting service. The same gentleman, the same company replaces it, maintains it, gives us the pH value. They give all kinds of services to ensure that I don't go to any other customer. So there's a complete engagement of the customer for that particular one. 16, 17 years, we have not moved. That was my first supplier of that machine, and still I'm carrying with them. So we have to really understand the customer relationship management process, and we have to build it so strongly in our business model that we have to have some technology, some system to really reinforce this customer relationship management with our customers. So this is basically on the customer side. So on one side, what's my value proposition or the offer. On the output side, there's a customer who's consuming my product or the service. So this is the business model, left and right center. Then the pillar of the foundation of the infrastructure and customer and the offer, I call this as a finance pillar. This is basically, on one side we have cost structures, and on the other side we have revenue streams. So we have to focus now on the cost structure. Now, when I say cost structure, so what are those processes in your business which are consuming cost, which are cost eating, like, for example, salaries of the people, or maybe maintaining a technology of the portal, or probably maintaining a website, the SEO of the website, or maybe buying consumables for my machines, or buying new technology for that matter. So what are my cost structures? We have to define them. Maybe warehousing. I'm doing a warehousing, that's my cost. So we have to identify what are those processes. Like, for example, HR department may have some kind of a cost, because I have to incentivize people, I have to have HR team. So there are certain processes. Okay, employees are the cost, obviously, but in addition to the employees, in certain departments, I may have costs. So, for example, sales cost. Sales cost is a technology, maybe a CRM, where actually I generate the leads from the market. So probably that's a cost to me. It's a continuous cost, which is a perpetual cost I have to pay. So we have to define the cost structures, or the cost centers, I would say. What are the cost centers in my organization, in my company, which I have to focus on? And on the other side, just to fulfill the costs, or maybe to cover the costs, what are my revenue streams? So from this offer which I'm offering on the top of everything, based on my capability, based on my partner network, based on my value configuration, I'm actually offering something. And the other side, there's a customer. So what are my revenue streams? How do I may have a high volume, high value, or low value, low volume, whatever scenarios I discussed with you. Based on that, I have to define what are my revenue streams. How do I get money from? What are my streams of revenue? So, for example, one revenue stream may be that I'm making money online. Another is that I'm making money through commissions. I'm making money through cash. I'm making money from consulting. I'm making money from webinars. So we have to define in our business model that what are my revenue streams. Maybe you may be getting revenues from your assets. Maybe you have an asset which is on rent, for example. Now or you have a machine, or you have a technology which you have outsourced to somebody. So there's a revenue coming from there as well. So we have to identify what are my revenue streams, and based on this, not a business plan. Business plan is an outcome of my business model. Definitely, business plan. Once your business model is ready, business plan will automatically be ready, because I'm actually making sense, in terms of just explaining that how business model needs to be structured. So can I hear somebody here saying yes, no? Are you comfortable with whatever I have, so that I get a validation from all of you? So can you just say yes, 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 or no, 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 so that I know exactly who is with me and who is not with me? Yeah, please. So I'll just give a small break here for maybe 2 minutes, and I just want to listen to you and hear from you that what do you think so far? Are you with me on this? Yeah, great. Bharti says yes. Shamila says yes. Okay, Munish Nagpal says yes. Anshul says yes. Okay, wonderful. Great. So now I'll take you to the other set of this. So I'll also probably, if you have registered, so we will have your email IDs on the platform. So I will, in next probably 48 hours, I'll be sharing few bullet points with you based on whatever we have discussed. Probably that will make things more clearer to you. And if you have any questions, you can always send an email to me, and I'm always there for you to support and really help you to develop one business for your business. But I would strongly recommend that all of you who are there on this platform right now should develop one, or should design one business model for your company, and you should reinvent and restructure yourself. The another thing which I would like to share with you, that there are three lenses, which we have to look at from to our business. When we design a business model, you have to focus on three things. The first thing is that the business which you are doing, whether it is viable or not in that particular market which you have, or target audience which you have identified for your value proposition or for your offer or not. So viability is one of the most important areas where you have to actually look at your business, whether the business or this model is viable or not. I'm saying business model has to be viable. What does viability mean? Viability means that, say, for example, if I want to do something, I'm fully capable of doing something, but I don't have enough reach, or I don't have enough resources to really reach out to the targeted customers through my business plan or through my offering. It may not be viable for me. Maybe I don't have resources. I don't have capability to do that. I don't have bandwidth to do that. So that is one thing which you need to focus very clearly, which is a viability. Another is the desirability. Whether the market has a desirability for your product. Again, I'm coming back to the need, the problem, the solution, which you need to look at very carefully and be very, very much focused on that. So desirability is that whether people desire your services or not, whether they are looking forward for your business, for your product and service or not. So you have to course correct yourself again and again and see if it is not being sold. Maybe either your distribution channel is not correct, or probably your value proposition is not right, or maybe your target audience is not right. So that is the only way you can course correct yourself and see. And then you can see that desirability. Okay, fine, Lakshay, you are leaving. No problem. You were there in my session last time, so you can leave. Have a great day. Thank you very much. So desirability is again based on what customer is desiring. So this is number two. Number three is the feasibility. Now the feasibility is, as I always say, that there are two kinds of feasibility any business should do. One is a market feasibility, and another is the financial feasibility. Now, when I say financial feasibility, it is that whether this makes sense or not, whether you're going to make profit or not. You may do business, but you're not making profit is not something which you should be doing. So financial feasibility, that your financial ratios, like quick ratio, your debt equity ratio, there are about 15 odd indicators, financial indicators, which you can actually set your business on and see whether my IRR, my quick ratio, my sensitivity ratio, all these ratios are actually, am I achieving them or not? Your inventory turnover ratio, if you are not a manufacturing or you're not a trading organization, you're a service organization. So there are many other financial ratios which you can look at. Probably your chartered accountant can help you with that. But if you have a CMA data, which I call the credit monitoring arrangement data for next 5 years or 3 to 5 years, it will actually give you a very clear indication where your business will be set out at. For example, if you say that next year I want to do a revenue of 5 crores, so your CMA data will tell you that how much profit and how much resources and what are the costs which you have to incur. Once you put all the costs in that, it will actually give you the health indicator. The CMA data will tell you whether this model is right or not, whether you are actually doing it or not. So this is how you are actually going to look at the feasibility part of it. So let me just repeat this, that if your project or if your business is feasible, what does that mean? It means that whatever business you are going to do this year or probably next year or maybe 5 years down the line, whether the financial ratios based on your capex and opex, which is capital expenditure and operational expenses, are going to give you profits or not. It is going to be your immediate check, health check of your business, not for today but for tomorrow, maybe for next 5 years, because the CMA data will tell you whether the capex, the capital investment and the operational expenses which you have set your business for, whether it is right or not. If the financial ratios are not healthy the way you are actually designing it, or you are actually setting out it, probably you may go wrong, and definitely you will not make profits. So my top recommendation is that if you really want to make a good business, also have a CMA data alongside. Your CMA data will surely tell you whether you are in the right business, or whether you are doing it right or not, or whether you are going to do it right or not, so that you don't make mistakes when bad times will come. So you have to consider the risks. You have to consider everything in the CMA data. It's one of the strongest, though people don't look into it seriously. But it is my personal experience in my business. I have a CMA data every year. I update it, and for next 5 years. And I know that if I have to take this decision, whether this decision is right for me or not, the CMA data tells me that many people may contest, many people may argue that CMA data is not always good. But then, boss, I don't want to be very accurate in everything, but at least I have some idea. Because most of the 99% of business owners, they work in thin air. They think that they work out of their gut feeling. I don't want businesses to fail by gut feeling, or maybe emotions, or maybe by luck. Sorry, I don't much believe in these three things. So your gut feeling, your emotions, and your luck, this will all come in once you have the structure. Once, for example, you have the CMA data, you have a business plan, you have the plan to go ahead, then if something goes drastically wrong and you are not able to handle it, then I may give it a benefit of doubt to luck. I may give benefit of doubt to emotions. I may give benefit of doubt to the guts, but not in the first place. We don't have to design it that way. That is, the design has to be my design. I have to be very clear about my business model. I have to be very clear about what and how I'm going to work on my strategies, my business plan, and my model. And then we'll see if the competition is going to be fierce, if my market conditions are going to change, if demonetization happens tomorrow, if GST comes in and if it is going to hit me because I was not a very structured and organized organization. So definitely GST is going to hit me. But I know exactly what I'm going to do and how I'm going to respond to my market, not react to the market. We have to be able to have enough things in place. Therefore, I say in the 5 levels of maturity of business that you have to be a proactive organization, if not innovative. So proactive is just below innovative, and corrective is just below proactive, and reactive is just below that, and then you are in a chaotic situation. So I want to take all of you from chaotic to at least proactive situation by doing all of this. Because my small book, which I just wrote about a month back, it actually has got these 5 levels of businesses and 5 levels of business owners. So you have to really look at the reasons why you are failing. You should know them. But are you going to fail tomorrow? Are you going to succeed tomorrow? Will be determined by what you have today, what you plan you have made for yourself today. So it is the high time that you should all have a good vision in front of you for the next 5 years to 10 years, that how your business is going to look at. So I'm just coming back to viability, desirability, and feasibility. These are the 3 lenses we have to look at the business model from, and which will help you to really improve the business model in its real sense. So what I have done is I have actually designed. There are, say, 10 key parameters or 10 key elements of this business model, and I have designed a questionnaire which has got 5 questions each for these, like for example, key partners. So what are the 5 questions you should be answering and you should be really working on? So I made a 50 questions questionnaire to really design a business model which is going to be a document to refer, a document which you will be proud of, the document which you will be taking to everywhere. You can tell people that this is my business model, and then it will help you. It will help you to go for valuation. One of the gentlemen here who is doing valuation of the company is also a chartered accountant. I think these professionals can help you to really do a valuation of your organization, of your brand, of your company, based on your goodwill, based on your core capabilities. But if you have a business model in front of you, your valuation becomes much easier. And then you can say, okay, I'm sellable as an organization. If you're sellable as an organization, you have created an asset for yourself. So we are working with different platforms on different areas of business success. One of them is I call as a strategy, standards, and sellability. Now, sellability says that if you have a good business model, you can actually take it to the next level, design standards, put everything in place, and then finally, after doing the valuation, you can say, okay, my business is valuated at 5 crores. My business is valuated at 50 lakhs. My business is valuated at 10 lakhs. Doesn't matter. But do you know what is your value? What is your share value of your own company? So these things will help you with that. So once you do that, you are going to be so confident in your managing your business. You will be a real powerful chief enterprise officer of your company. So I have got these 50 questions. So whosoever is interested can come up to me, send an email to me at vinod.pandita@pncact.com. And we will do one thing. We will have these questions available to you on a portal, on an electronic media, where you can actually, answer these questions both in qualitative and quantitative manner. And once I receive your responses of these things, and then I can also, at a small cost, I can also share with you the template of a business model where you can actually develop. But before going for that step forward, what you can do is you can actually jot down all your get your all your what you call your parameters of business modeling on a piece of a paper, and look into it, that how you actually see your organization, or how you want a world to see your organization as, or a business as. So this is what is something which is very important. So any questions so far? So you can ask me. I'm here. We have another 15 minutes to go. So you can ask me questions. If you have any questions, so I can answer. And if anyone wants to come in on the screen, wants to come on the video and probably chat with me, or maybe can put it in the chat box, I can answer the specific questions to any of the participants here, please. I think some of the participants have left in between. I think how many are there now? 8 of us are there. Okay. Anyone has a question, please? Anyone has a question? All right. Is Anshav there? Anshav, can you hear me?
Yes, I am there. So I think let us close